welcome for another review of The Flash. This episode was it was actually very Joe heavy, and it's nice to see Joe West get a little burn because I know he had I think he had like some medical issues a season ago and he took a lot of time off. So now like to see him back, for him to get like an episode centered around him where he can like kind of like dig into some stuff was very cool to see. It was extremely cool to see. So the episode starts with we're talking it like we're still like, well we're still going through the mirror situation. Mr. Carver, he's still trying to steal all this tech. He's like, we don't know what his plan is. He's pulling capers. He has all these people, all these light-based villains going around the city stealing tech for him. But but now Detective Joe West, he's getting a little close. Like, he's investigating him. Joe's getting close to cracking him and actually like busting his ass. So what he does, he brings back an old villain, the Ragdoll, and who's played by an actual contortionist. So he brings back the Ragdoll, and Ragdoll, his mission is to kill Detective Joe West. So the first thing Ragdoll does, he puts himself, because like he can basically like contort his body, like he can fit into pipes, and it's very disgusting. So he basically puts himself in Joe's car, and while Joe's actually driving, I don't know if he's driving home or driving to the precinct, Ragdoll cut Joe's brakes and accelerated, the pedal. He accelerated like the other pedal and cut the brake line at the same time. Joe almost got into an accident. He crashed. The ambulance comes in. Captain Singh comes in. Well, I guess he's not the captain anymore. Commissioner Singh, I think he is. So, Singh comes in. Barry's there. Cecile is there. They're talking to Joe. They're telling Joe, like, if Carver's targeting you and he's hired Ragdoll and and he has access to all these light-based metas, you should go into witness protection. And Joe's like, nah, I'm not going into witness protection because I'm close. He was just like, he's like, the fact that Carver's trying to kill him means like I'm getting close and I'm making him sweat. So he's bound to make a mistake. So Joe doesn't want to. Joe's like, screw that. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna back off. So the Sunshine, the light-based villain Sunshine that they caught, Joe decides to go talk to her, and maybe he can squeeze some information out of her so they can nail Carver. While Joe's talking to Sunshine, Ragdoll pops out of the pipes of the precinct, and he attacks Joe at the precinct. There's a moment where like he fired bullets at Joe. Barry Barry got the call that something was wrong. He tries to use his flash speed because remember, Barry's losing his speed, so he uses his speed. He zooms into the room. He starts catching all the bullets, one by one. But because he's having speed issues, there was one particular bullet that he couldn't get to because he wasn't fast enough, and that bullet actually shot Joe in the shoulder. And then Ragdoll. I guess Ragdoll took Sunshine. They never. I don't think they. I don't remember if they specified what happened to Sunshine, but she definitely wasn't sitting at the table. So I don't know if she was still handcuffed at the table or if Ragdoll uncuffed her and she escaped. So, but if she did escape, then obviously that's going to be a problem for another day. So now they've got, so Joe's back at he's back at Star Labs. Him and Barry get into an argument because he's like, I got to protect his family and you got to stay. You got to go to witness protection. And then Joe's like, I ain't going to no damn witness protection. And then he's just like, at least stay in Star Labs, until I catch Ragdoll. Joe's not happy about that. So he takes his badge off and he just flat out goes to Carver's house, like straight up just to confront Carver. And he's like, yo, you try to get me killed twice and I don't play that shit. And then Carver was just like, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. West. And he was like, I'm not the one who hired Ragdoll to pop out of a box and try to kill you. And then, because that's what happened. And then Joe was like, I never said he came out of a box. And then Carver was like, shit, I messed up. So he was just like, all right, fine. So I'm busted. Verbally, I'm busted. He was just like, if you turn your back now and just walk away from this, he was like, I'll walk away and then it's all gravy. And then Joe was like, no, because I got you on tape. Threatening a police captain and admitting that you actually hired Ragdoll. And then your boy used Carver used an MVP, was it not an MVP? An EMP, an MVP. He used an EMP to short circuit Joe's phone to erase the audio file. And then after that, he was just like, he was like, it's technology, Joe. He's like, I can do whatever I want. He's like, I could kill your wife. I could kill your kids. And then Joe got mad and punched him in the face, and then he left. So then Joe goes back to Star Labs. Him and Barry get into another argument because Barry's like, how could you go to his house? And then Joe was just like, boy, I'm Joe West. Like, don't talk to me. And they're just like having this whole back and forth where Barry's trying to get him to, to take the witness protection, but Joe doesn't want to take the witness protection. So now what's the girl name? Allegra. Allegra. She goes to Cecile because remember, like, Iris West, like the Team Citizen, Cecile's lawyer business, and Ralph's private eye business. They're all in the same building. They all work on the same floor across from each other. So Allegra goes to Cecile and she's just like, I heard what happened to Joe, and then she, Allegra was just like, if they try to come after you, like, Allegra's like, I'll be here to protect you. And then Nash shows up and he's like, yeah, I'll be here to protect you too. Allegra gets mad and she leaves. And then her and Nash get into it, and then he's like, I said I was sorry. What do you want? And she's like, leave me alone. And I'm like, the whole Allegra thing is like silly. Like Allegra is upset. Like it's so childish because like Allegra is upset because Wells view, when Wells looked at her, he sees her doppelganger who he used to have a relationship with. And she's like, "Oh, I'm not special." I'm like, "Bitch, get over that." It's just like so. Like I can understand her feeling some kind of way in the beginning, but I'm like, she should have been over that by now. It's not like Wells is her actual daddy, so she just is like, So anyway, so while they're all having that unnecessary conversation, Ragdoll rolls up at the office and he kidnaps Cecile. And that and that scene, God bless them. That scene. The thing about it is, if you're Cecile, she watched Ragdoll creep his way into the room, did all his twisting and turning and contorting and blah, blah, blah. And she's just watching him the whole time. Then he comes to her like face to face, like right here, like right here face to face. Says something to her. He delivered his line. And then she screamed. And I was just like, lady, you were supposed to scream the moment he contorted himself into the room. I thought that was funny. That they just, it's like, I thought that this is like from an acting choice, it's like to have her wait that long to scream. I'm like, nah, like realistically, nobody would do that. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. So he takes Cecile down to a warehouse, connects a bomb to it. Joe goes down there. And then, like, because Wells called him. He was just like, they got Cecile. So they tell Barry, Joe goes down there. He's, like, he finds Cecile. Barry shows up. He's fighting Ragdoll with whatever little bit of speed he got left. And then the whole thing was like, it was Cecile's body pressure that was making the countdown go. And if she gets up off the chair, then the countdown would speed up. So Joe knocked her off and took her place in the chair. And then Barry defeated Ragdoll because when Ragdoll went in the pipes, Barry banged the pipes, which messed up his head. And then when he came out, he slapped the cuffs on him. And then he told him he was just like, you'll never hurt anybody again. And Ragdoll told him he was just like, first of all, he's not, because he was just like, whatever Carver paid you, I hope it was worth it. And then Ragdoll was like, bro, he was like, I wasn't doing this for the money. Because if you remember from like the first time Ragdoll showed up, they showed his mom, like where Iris and Barry rolled up on his mom. And his mom wasn't like the nicest person. She was kind of like a rich, snooty, biatch. Like she was a very like uncaring, like unmotherly type figure. And she was basically like I said, she kind of like shut him out a little bit. Like she never gave him like the love that he needed. So he always resented his mom. And he said that his mom died of a heart attack recently. So I guess he gets the inheritance, but he was just like, but because he hated his mom, and he was just like, now that my mom is dead, he's just like, well, there's no one. He's like, there's no one left. He said, there's no one left to cause pain. He's like, the only person left to cause pain is me. So he was gonna stay in the building when it blew up because I guess he wanted to kill himself. So they chained him up to the pipe. Barry goes into the same room. Joe tells him, get Cecile out of the building. Barry runs Cecile out of the building. Barry tries to run back to save Joe. He got there too late before the countdown reached 0. Barry wasn't fast enough to save Joe. Luckily, Joe, while the whole time Joe was sitting on the chair, Joe ended up just pulling the wire, pulling one of the green wires on the bomb, and Joe luckily defused the bomb on his own. So Barry getting there late, fortunately didn't matter. And then after that, Joe was just like, yeah, I think I'm going to take the witness protection because this shit is crazy. And so he goes into witness protection. He's talking to Cecile, talking to Barry. Singh is there. Singh puts him into the car. He drives off, and then, Joe's gone, and he's going into witness protection. And then after that, we find out Singh, former Captain Singh, he's sitting in his car. He looks in his rearview mirror, and then the Mirror Master chick, she shows up in his mirror, and then she's just like, mission complete. Victory is assured. And I'm just like, when did they get Singh? Like, when did they roll up on Singh? Like, Singh's one of the Mirror people now. So I'm just like, Now I'm at the point where anybody could be a mirror person because we don't know when they got Sing. You know, whose idea was it to get Sing? So I'm just like, all right, she get a little creepy with her, with her ability. Because like I said, because now you can't trust nobody now. Because like anybody could be a mirror person right now, and Lord knows where the real Sing is. Like I don't even like we still don't even know where Camilla is because earlier in the episode, Iris, like the real Iris, she was talking to the Mirror Master, and Iris was telling her, she was just like, you know, there were certain things in here like words, computers, books. She was like, when I first got here, I couldn't read them, but she was like, I've been here so long now. She was like, I'm starting to be able to understand them now because she was like, her body is starting to adjust to being in the mirror. And then she said that she was reading her notes on the mirror stuff and how to get out, and then she was just like, you know, my husband is the Flash, and if he vibrates his molecules, he can get us out of the mirror. You know, so the Mirror Master was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." She's like, "Just give me some time to recharge, and then we'll get your husband." You know, so then Iris goes away, and then Mirror Master, she pulls up fake Iris, and she's like, "Yo, bitch, new plan. I need you to take away Barry's like last bit of speed." Because she was just like, I don't want Barry like getting involved. She's like, I don't want Joe getting involved. I don't want Barry getting involved. And it's only and because Joe is investigating her husband, she's like, it's only a matter of time before Barry helps him. So she told fake Iris, do whatever you got to do to get rid of the last of the Flash's speed, you know, to keep him from interfering. So Iris is just like coming up with reasons for him to run for like no reason. After after Joe went off to witness protection, Barry came home. And Iris, the mirror Iris was there. She was talking to him, and then she got mad at him. And she was like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me that my dad wasn't going to witness protection?" He was like, "Bitch, I called you like 30 times." And then she was like, "But you're the Flash. You're supposed to come get me." And he's just like, I'm losing my speed, right? And then she was just like, "Oh, take me to my dad." And he was like, "I can't do that." She's like, "Can or won't, Barry. You're the Flash. They're still in the city limits. You could run me to the car." And he's like, "Bitch, I'm losing my speed." And then she was just grilling him, just trying to get him to use his speed. And then he was just like, "I'm barely holding on, woman." And he's like, "I can't breathe. I can't. I'm not hungry anymore. My feet hurt. Like I'm tired." And then he's just like, I'm losing my speed. And then she got mad. She was just like, she personally like antagonized him, and she was just like, "Get out of that." She's like, "I want you out, Barry." And then he was just like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Woman, are you serious?" She's like, "I want you out." She's like, "I'm no longer your home, Barry. Get out." So now Barry left. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, it's my house, but so he left, and then his watch thing, he started turning red, and I'm just like, I don't know why it turned red because he wasn't using his speed. So I'm like, so unless like his just normal everyday emotions is draining his power, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, so Barry got kicked out the house, and then like I said, he's in the red zone now. So we'll see what happens with his speed situation. So Joe won't be on the show for a while. I'm assuming like he gone. Like I said, Barry's sleeping on the couch in Star Labs. Allegra and still got their thing going on. And then at the end, the the Mirror Master sent her husband a mirror. And because I didn't realize that until the mirror was in his office, and when he saw it was a mirror, he looked around his apartment, and I was just like, yeah, he doesn't have any mirrors in his apartment. And then his wife showed up. He was there. The two of them got into an argument, and I'm just like, wait, so both of you are completely aware of each other this whole time. He he knows his wife is in the mirror. He wants her to stay in the mirror. She knows that he knows he's in the mirror, and she knows that he's coming for that ad. Like, they're both basically aware of their entire situations. Their issue is they both had different opinions on how to quote-unquote change the world. So he had his idea, she had her idea, and when the particle accelerator happened and she got trapped in the mirror, he basically kept her in there and was just like, well, screw you, bitch, I'm about to do my ideas, and now he's doing his own ideas. So there's a little marital spat going on, and then he took his elbow and he broke the mirror into pieces. So that's that's going to be interesting because are they both the villain? Who was in the right? Who was in the wrong? Who's the true victim that eventually just turned into a villain because of the fact that they were victimized? Or are both of them just bad people? Like, they could both just be bad people. They're probably just two villains just going back and forth against each other. So we might have two big bads. But no, but that's interesting, and I want to learn more about their history. Like, I want an episode where their feud, where it highlights like their feud and how they literally like split up, and I kind of want to see how all that drama unfolds. So that's pretty cool. Side storyline. Like Ralph's still trying to investigate Sue, like like the CW Black Widow, and he gets Cisco to come with her because Ralph found out that she's actually going to high fancy parties and breaking into servers and getting bank information on a bunch of rich douchebags. So Cisco and Ralph, they roll up on her. They get into a little bit, and then later on Ralph finds out, and he confronts her, and then he finds out, he tells her, he's just like, the reason why you're breaking into all these places and looking up all this bank information, he was like, you're not trying to steal anything. He was like, your parents are being extorted by Carver. So now the Carver situation with Barry, Iris, the Mirror Master, Fake Iris, Joe, and everybody else, it's now tying into the Ralph situation because this same dude, he's exploiting Sue's parents. And she was just like, Carver's blackmailing my parents, and every week my parents have to send him money. So she's trying to break into the account information, I guess, to get her parents' money back, and then she's coming for Carver's ass too. So I guess they're going to bring her in on the fold. It was only a matter of time, and a little team up is going to happen. There's going to be a new member on Team Flash, which having her, like, if Ralph brings her in on the team, that'd actually help for a little bit until Barry gets his speed. No Caitlin in this episode. She was not there at all. We still don't know where the real Cecile is. Still don't know where Sing is. But it was a good episode of The Flash. I actually did see the coming attractions for next week, so I know that next week Barry somehow does find out that Mirror Iris isn't the real Iris, and there is an attempt to try to save the real Iris. So we'll see what happens when that rolls up on Tuesday. So thank you for tuning in. Again, good episode of The Flash. Very good episode. Nice to see Ragdoll again, although it kind of creeps me out. And we'll see what other villains pop up in the weeks to come. So please leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. Thank you for tuning in as always. And for The Flash, until next time, as always, guys, I'm out this bitch.